95.1 FM, 790 AM. This is KFYO Mornings. Dave King and Matt Martin here, broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studio. Engagement rings, custom jewelry, and a whole lot more at thackerjewelry.com.
Now, this is how important the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds is. He is calling us on the super secret newsmaker line.
Okay. I don't even know. They don't even give out this super secret number. I don't know it. Now, how do you know this number, Jerry?
He's that important.
Line 1 wasn't working. It's got and I kept this number years ago when we started doing it.
Well, you are. That shows how special you are.
I know. I love it.
Well, this is Jerry.
Guys.
This is Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, as he's always here every Thursday at 7:35. What are you driving this week, Car Pro?
Boy, I'm driving something really interesting. It's the 2020 Toyota Land Cruiser. And it is the 60th anniversary of the Land Cruiser being sold in America.
So I've got to ask, what the heck is a Land Cruiser? Because I know I've got the Highlander. I've seen the RAV4, the what is it, the RJ? You've got the Sequoia. I don't know what is this comparatively speaking?
You know, it's guys. This one's hard to explain, and This is the second time I've had a Land Cruiser. The last time was probably 5 or 6 years ago. It's a big SUV that sells like crazy everywhere else in the world. Here in the U.S., they have limited production of it. I mean, if you go to even the biggest Toyota dealers in the country, you might find one or two. I mean, a total of 3,500 were sold last year, which is nothing. Toyota intentionally keeps the numbers low. It's almost a cult vehicle. It's a great big off-road. I mean, I liken it in a lot of ways to a Land Rover because it's big and square and gets horrible gas mileage. And it's just, but it is a super capable off-road SUV. I mean, they use these things in the jungles. In different parts of the world, but it's got a really nice interior. Now, this thing is pricey. It's an $89,000 Toyota that gets 12 miles to the gallon, almost Jurassic Park-like, if you will. But yet, at the same time, it rides well. It drives good. It handles good. It's a technological marvel from the standpoint of the four-wheel drive system. So it doesn't have this. This is called the Heritage Edition to celebrate 60 years of sales in America.
Yeah. Well, you know, and Jerry, also when you're talking about a Toyota like this, it comes to mind. Of course, Toyota goes back to World War II and even before, and
sure.
they built a lot of Army vehicles for the Japanese Army that were. Jungle, it would run through the jungle and and so forth and so on. They're in the Pacific, so they've got a lot of experience at this kind of a vehicle.
Yeah, they do. But the following for this vehicle is interesting to me. I've always wondered what makes people want this thing. There's a Lexus equivalent that's called the GX. And most people don't even know about it. It's a very, very slow mover for Lexus. There were 4,500 of those sold last year, and it's quite a bit more expensive, up in well past 100,000. But this is a vehicle that. Let me give you an example that I know of. One person who has one of these, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
he keeps one at an airport that just sits there all the time. When he flies into one of his vacation homes, he gets in the Toyota Land Cruiser and drives around. And that's kind of the way it is when you start talking about a $90,000 vehicle. It's just one of those things where you don't see them often. You might not even notice one if you do see it. And I think that's what makes this thing so cool and so exclusive. Is it something I'd buy personally? No, it's not for me. But because, for $89,000, there's a lot of other choices out there. But if I really needed a serious off-road SUV, and you guys may need a serious off-road SUV today with your weather. This would be a good one to have. I'll tell you that. It's an interesting vehicle. Really is something very different.
So let me ask you this. Now, if you wanted to purchase one of these, how difficult would it be to get one?
There's not many of them around. There are a few bigger dealers stock sometimes 2 of them at a time. I've seen as many as 3, but then you get outside the big metro areas, and you're not likely to find one. The Toyota dealer there in Lubbock, they may or may not have one. A lot of dealers don't stock them, but they'll sell them on an order basis.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I actually like the looks of it. It's a nice looking. It's a nice looking truck.
It is. There is no doubt about it. And I think where this thing gets so expensive is in the technology that's under it that you never even see. So unless you really have a 4-wheel, this thing is full-time all-wheel drive. So you never get out of 4-wheel drive, period. And I think that's why it's rated at 14 miles to the gallon combined. But I've been driving it all week, and I'm barely doing 12.
So is that one of the reasons they don't sell a lot of them? Is because of, I think, the way the United States does their whole fuel mileage stuff is crazy, but they do it as all the vehicles put together and divided and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so if they sold a lot of them, it could run their overall gas mileage.
Toyota's got so many fuel-efficient vehicles. Just look at what Prius, the hybrid, does. That offsets a whole lot of these and makes the averages work out. But I don't know that the people who buy this Land Cruiser care about fuel economy, and frankly, I don't think they drive them a lot. For most people, this is not their daily driver. This is a sort of an extra vehicle, and I think it's kind of cultish. It's special to have a Land Cruiser. So this is the Heritage Edition. They did make some changes to this one. They took out the 3rd row seat, which is interesting. So it's only a 5-passenger, but it's got a ton of cargo area in the back. They took off the running boards. They put on some special wheels, and they put some special throwback insignias on the side of it. So this one's only $2,500 higher than the regular one. But I think this 60th anniversary, this is the longest running Toyota that's sold in America.
No.
And I find that kind of interesting too.
Okay,
it's not for everybody, but it's kind of cool.
Texter this morning, Jerry, that says, ask Jerry about the Nissan NV.
NV, that's I don't get a lot of questions on it. It's a sort of a fleet van, if you will. Now I think they do make a passenger version of it, but nobody sells the passenger version. You liken it to the Ford Transit van. They've been good. I know a lot of companies that use them for deliveries. They're fine. Comes in a diesel or a gas engine. I certainly don't know anything bad about them.
Yeah. So on Car Pro USA, I'm looking, and I remember you were at the Houston Car Show. Was that last week?
Yeah, last Saturday.
Was there anything really interesting that popped up while you were there?
Saw the Mustang Mach-E for the first time in person. Looks better
not a Mustang.
than I thought it would. Looks bigger than I thought it would.
Still not a Mustang.
It's still not a Mustang. Agreed. Did get to lay my eyes on the all-new 2020 Corvette that was there. And probably for me, the most interesting was the Land Rover Defender was there. And that's a vehicle that's coming to the United States just in a couple of months. And I think that's going to be a big hit. It's huge.
Yeah.
That Land Rover Defender is larger than this Land Cruiser, and this thing is big. So it was a good show. Lots of people there. Got to interact with a lot of our listeners. It was a really good time.
Oh, anything else going on CarProUSA.com?
We've got to make some. We have a story, and it's still there right now, but we're about to edit it. The Genesis GB80, which is Genesis' first SUV, is coming out here in the next couple of months, and we're doing a Super Bowl ad this year. And unfortunately, they chose a shot in the commercial of a helicopter. And given the events of this week, they had to make some quick edits in the past 24 hours to get that helicopter shot out of there and rechange the ad. So we're going to change ours too. We just feel like it's the right thing to do. I've got a new AAA study on what Americans think about electric cars, and you'll find out that they're not embracing electric cars or self-driving cars.
Not impressed, huh?
No, not yet. And maybe that'll change, but I think the change will be slow. What scares me is the billions going into electric car technology. We're going to have a lot of electric cars on the market within the next 2 years, and I don't know who's going to buy them.
Yeah. Okay, Jerry, we're up against the clock. We do want to remind everyone that you are, the Car Pro is on this radio station every Saturday from 11 to 1. And you can check out more of the Car Pro at carprousa.com.
Guys, have a good week.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
See ya.
Thanks.